Hello, welcome back. So I'm doing a off the board again today. I think this is the last one for the month of July. Today's off the board scrap lift of the Missy Widden layout I just showed. So with the circles I've used a couple of Stampin' Up dies, and you'll see there I was showing you they were bent. I don't know what's happened with my big shot, but as I was running the dies through it, each pass it got harder and harder. It just randomly started applying more pressure than it had done previously, and they ended up bending. Dies ended up bending. I've ended up abandoning one of the plates from the die from the big shot and putting my Scrapbook.com magic mat in instead, because that's a little bit thinner, so it's not quite enough pressure, but it's at least not bending it like it was with the regular big shot sandwich. Okay, so I'm just using some of the offcuts from the circle here to mat this photo. Now these photos are from a walk I did at lunchtime from work about a week and a half ago, so not far from where it's a science park with a big field and a lake, and sun was shining, and I went for a walk around the field, around the park, up to the lake and back again. There was people out playing rounders and out having picnics. It was really lovely. So it's a really lovely walk. Carried my umbrella with me just in case, because at the end of the day we are in the UK, and it's not that we have bad weather, it's we have unpredictable weather. So having said that, it's bad at the minute. It's just been raining for like a week. So I've cut all the circles out, and I was just marking there where the photos are going to be for my mixed media to come down. Now I'm not going through the embellishments yet. I just needed a piece of packaging to do the packaging technique. So I've used peacock feathers there, and I was just checking with salvage patina. It doesn't look quite the right blue to go with, or quite the right teal to go with the papers, but it does actually, when it's all on and it's all said and done at the end of the day, it does look really good. I think it does anyway. So just there, going with the peacock feathers to begin with, drying that off, and then I do decide it's not quite right, and I get out speckled egg and put a bit of speckled egg down. And this goes really badly because I end up dripping it in the wrong place, as you can see. So put some speckled egg down and then dry that off. So key with distress is to dry each layer, because otherwise you just end up with all the colours mixing together. Whereas if you dry each layer, you do end up with layers of colour. I mean, wet in distress again anyway does activate the inks again, but it does look more layered if you dry it between. So that's broken china. I then decide that it's not covering everywhere I want it to cover, so I just come in and paint some onto the background, and then squish on with the packaging technique and what's left on there, and then move that around with the brush as well, just to get everywhere I want covered, and you don't really see much of that under the circles. So we're coming back in with my die cut circles, just laying them where I want. Ends up being completely different to where it was when I first had them laid out. I never took a picture of that, so that's how it ends up, completely different. So yeah, just laying them all out randomly around the top 2/3 of the page, about 2/3. This journaling is going to go underneath the photograph. I haven't added the journaling yet. I really need to do that. Just just adding more circles in the different sizes, and just randomly about. And then I think we're going in with the smallest ones now and filling in some of them gaps. I think these smaller ones are about 1 inch. All those aren't smallest. We're going smallest now. Here we go. Just filling in some of the gaps. I think I'm done a couple of times, and then I add another and move some about to fit in more, to fill in the gaps a little bit better. So once I'm happy with them, I'm just going to decide to pop up the photos on 3D foam, so I'm going to do that first, and then I'm going to come back in and distress every single one of them, those circles. I do decide I am going to put some of the circles up on 3D foam, so I do some on this Sticks 2 foam, and I also do some on Stampin' Dimensionals from Stampin' Up, because it's not quite as thick, not quite as high as the Sticks 2, so it just gives me different layers. With that, you saw me then with the mat around the map picture from Strava, or it might be Fitbit, I think it's Fitbit actually, not Strava. With that, I'd changed the side of the mat around so that the bit where the two pieces are meeting are underneath the photo that's going to the left of the big picture of the map. So here I am just coming in now and distressing. So I stick as I distress, and then I don't make you watch all of this. I actually take it downstairs and sit and watch Stargate Atlantis whilst doing the rest of them. So you're just going to see me do 2 and then switch the camera off, go and watch some TV with Mr. Ding, and do this whilst watching TV. Which reminds me, I have cut files to stitch for August 31 days of cut files, so I need to go and take them downstairs and do that in front of the TV. Now I've come back now with everything distressed. I am determined I'm going to use some of these wax seals. So these are wax seals that I made in my last unboxing video from DLS Design, the wax seals from DLS. I haven't talked about the collection I'm using actually. This is actually the Summer Stories 6x8 and the Pocket Life pocket page cards that I've used for the circles. So it's a Summer Stories collection from DLS Design. It's their quarterly collections that they do. I think it's Miss Evie that the brand name is on these. I'm just sorting through the embellishments now, what I want to use and what I might use, so I just go through my whole tray just to pick all of that out. Picking all the flowers and the hearts and those swishes of colour. The reason I pulled the table tennis bats out is because there was also like a I'm not sure if it was fuzzball or table tennis, I didn't actually check properly, but there was like an outdoor one of them as well that was on the park too, so I thought it went with it, but then I do end up taking that off. I'm just here cutting down the 3D foam pieces really quite small to fit behind the wider bits of that word of the title. The title I've actually gone with Summer Stories. It's Summer Stories acrylic piece that's in the collection that come in the kit. So I do actually go with that as my title. And as I said, I was cutting down some 3D foam to very small pieces. I do struggle getting the backing off because I've done them that small, so I end up just putting my Tombow on there. And there's a bit of Tombow behind the wider parts on the M and the S at the end to glue that onto the photo. I'm just going to put my lines in here for the journaling, so I've got an idea of where that's going before I then do my embellishment clusters, so I remember to leave room for it basically. And here I am again coming in with these wax seals because I am determined these are going to get used on this layout. So I end up with one of the pink hearts, one up there on the left, the green hello tucked under the Summer Stories, and then the buff with the heart with the butterflies on to the right just above the photo. That's the one that's got the least amount of the white embossing powder when I made these seals, that buff one. The one with the least amount is actually the one that turned out the nicest. Going in with these puffy word strips now. And you see as well, I've added some of the die cut ephemera with the leaves, the foliage behind each of those wax seals. And after adding some puffy stickers, I'm using these word stickers as well. I do originally pop one on that swish of blue. I was determined that swish of blue was going there to hide the join where the 2 pieces of pattern paper. Do end up actually taking that off, and I start going in with the flowers as well on the puffy words, but I can't find one that I'm happy with to go behind one of them. Can't remember which one it is. So I do end up changing the flowers out for the hearts after I cut this die cut apart. This is the point when I'm like, actually, and I swap the flowers out for the hearts because I'm not really happy with how the flowers are looking. I don't know if it's just because I went in with that big one. Maybe if I stuck with the smaller ones I would have been happy, but the hearts kind of went with it as well because it's got that pattern from the back of the pocket page card that I've used with the hearts on. So just looking at this cluster now above the top of the photo, this changes quite a lot and moves about quite a lot, and that word sticker ends up coming off too. Was thinking about using stamps, ended up not doing that. And then with the enamel dots, fill in some more of the gaps between the circles with these little enamel dots. I do actually move some circles about and then put them back again. It do have a bit of a faff. So yeah, just doing some fillers with these enamel dots now before I finish off the ephemera, the die cut ephemera. And yeah, here we go, taking the word sticker off that, change my mind about what's going up there, and I just end up with the bird stickers randomly around the page on some of the circles instead, which I think I do now. Yeah, I debated about putting some more of the die cut circles that I made, and decide actually I'm happy with the way they are. Okay, messing with this cluster again. I tell you, I mess with this so much. I'm not happy with where it goes high, low, high, so I try something else behind it. That is going to change again. So I grabbed my ticket punch because I wanted a label or something down the side. Now I could have got one of the other collections out, like Outgoing or Playful, because I think there's some in there, but I decided to grab my ticket punch and just add some punches instead out of the pattern papers. And with the larger of the 2 ticket punches, I do actually pop that up on some 3D. Here we go. Now I'm just getting some foam pads now to pop that up. I do struggle with these. Some of them are cut really well, and some of them they are difficult to get up. But you know, get there in the end. It's fine. Still wouldn't, you know, have anything other than them because they're fab. Okay, so coming to gluing everything down. So I'm going to use wet adhesive for the wax seals, with them being non-porous. I end up sticking that leaf not quite where it was, so instead of moving it, I just pick the enamel dot up and move that over. And now just sticking those pieces behind there. That blue swish, I was going to put the date on there, and then I've realised the date's actually on the photo where the map is, so I do end up not writing the date on there. I don't know what I'm going to put on there. Like I said, I've still not done the journaling. All my layouts that I've done in July are on my layout board, and I still need to add journaling to all but one, I think it is. Sorry, squeaky chair's going. Yeah, it's only 1 out of 10 layouts I've done in July that there's only one I have added journaling to. Bit of a slow month this month. 10 layouts when I did 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. I did 24 last month. The obligatory picking the page up and shaking it to make sure I've glued everything down. We are nearly done. I'm going to come in and add lots of Nouveau. I do me 3 clusters of 3 to begin with, And then I decided, actually, you know what, I'm just going to put one, like single ones all over, filling in some of these gaps between circles. And I really love how that looks. Thanks so much for watching. Go check out the Off the Board with Pineapple Papers playlist. I've really enjoyed this month. Hope to do more next year for Off the Board. Have a great day. Bye bye.